Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie, and as you could tell by the title of this video, we're going to do a bunch of NCLEX talk today. So grab your coffee, I hope you're ready to go. To start, I graduated from Sacred Heart University May 11th of 2024, and I took my NCLEX June 12th of 2024, so almost exactly a month after I graduated. And I passed the NCLEX in 85 questions on my very first attempt. In my experience, I wanted to schedule my NCLEX as soon as I got my ATT, which is your authorization to test, and I feel like if I didn't take it as early as I did, it would be haunting me and I wouldn't be actually able to take my summer break, especially before starting work. At this point, I did not have a job lined up. Some people do have jobs lined up from the last semester of nursing school. I did not at this point. Actually, my interview for the job that I currently have was the day after my NCLEX, and they wanted to know that my NCLEX was scheduled. So that's also another reason I wanted to do it as early as I did, just so that even if I didn't pass the NCLEX, then I would have time before the summer was over to retake it as well. So there were a couple different factors on why I took the NCLEX when I did. I do have some friends who took it late July and preferred having a break in between finishing graduation and finishing the semester up until they started their study plan for the NCLEX, and they preferred it that way. I have a different preference, but it's all about your preference and what you want to do at the end of the day. Let's get into my studying schedule. So my school had this NCLEX prep class the senior spring semester. So that class, we started UWorld and another platform, I forgot what it's called, but we would do anywhere from 75 to 200 questions per week for the entire spring semester. And then we would also do different practice tests as well to mimic the NCLEX. If your school does not have that, I do suggest doing practice questions and starting earlier better than later. The more practice you get with the questions and the wording and how to answer the questions, the better you're going to get and the more prepared you will feel. So I think that's why I felt as prepared as I did to take it as early as I did. After graduation, I started that week to set 2 days apart for practice exams, and I would do at least 50 questions to around 100 questions per day just to get the extra practice in. I wouldn't necessarily do a content review. The only content review I would do, and that I did, was listening to the Mark K lectures. That's the only content review you'll need for the NCLEX. You're not going to know everything, and it's more so the wording of the questions and how to answer the questions versus the content in the question itself. There are questions that I've gotten right when practicing that I had no idea what the content was, but because I knew how to answer the question, I got it correct. Another thing that helped me was read the rationale for every single practice question that I did, whether I got it right or wrong, because that is something that I can learn and take away from. So that would be another thing under content review as well, but I wouldn't go through every single one of your notebooks throughout nursing school and do it that way. That, to me, in my opinion, is a waste of time, and we don't have time to waste. I did that for about a month, where I would do practice tests once a week and practice questions every day. I would listen to a Mark K lecture every single day for about, I want to say, a week and a half to 2 weeks it took me to finish all of them. But what I would do is I would listen, I would take notes on it, and then that was it. I did the practice questions through UWorld, and I know a lot of people like Archer, but I suggest just sticking with one platform. We had UWorld through our school, so that's why I stuck with it, because in my opinion, I don't want to spend any more money. I didn't want to keep buying all these expensive platforms when one was just good enough. When I would take my practice tests each week, I would do them at different times of the day to see which time of the day I responded best to and my mind was clearer to. Some people respond better in the morning and have a clearer head in the morning, so they took their NCLEX in the morning. I personally took my NCLEX at 1 p.m. I felt that I wanted to work out before because that helps my brain to wake up. Then it was still early enough in the day where I wasn't fatigued. Around 3 p.m. is where I get fatigued. That's basically all I did, was Mark K lectures and for my content review and UWorld practice questions. Also the UWorld practice exams. With the exams, apart from the test bank, it mimics the actual NCLEX. So what I would suggest and what I did was I went to the library and I went into the quiet room, belonging away, and I did not look at anything. The practice exam would stop at a certain amount of questions and it looks exactly like the NCLEX. It was crazy. When I walked into the NCLEX and I saw the screen, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks just like the UWorld practice exam. And I think that familiarity also helped calm myself and calm my nerves, and it made me ready to take the test. The exams also tell you how ready you are for the NCLEX. So I took that into account too, to see how many more practice questions I needed to do, or whether I need to push my exam back, or how confident I felt. It also helps build my confidence to take the NCLEX, because when I got my exam, I think it was the CAT exam in UWorld, it showed that I was ready for the NCLEX, and I think having that confidence builder was huge. Going into the NCLEX, confidence really is key. It really helps you when answering the questions, like you're ready to take on all these questions. You're never going to feel ready. And that's like a hard pill to swallow. After a certain point, there's only so much studying you could do, so many practice questions you can do, so many practice exams you can do. What really makes you ready is your confidence level, not the amount of questions that you do. And yes, practice questions and the practice exams build your confidence. So when you do enough practice questions and enough practice exams and you build up your confidence, then you're ready to go. I started studying before I got my ATT. Now, your authorization to test is the number or the code, I believe, that the state gives you when you can finally sign up for the NCLEX. I think I got that code like the last week of May or the first week of June, somewhere around there. So it did take a couple weeks after graduation to get that. It does depend on the state that you are in and that you live in and that you want to get your nursing license in. So mine's New York. So New York is notorious for taking a couple of weeks to send out the ATTs. But once I got it, I scheduled it right away for a week and a half later. And I knew that I was at the tail end of my studying plan. You do not need to wait until you get your ATT to start studying. You could start studying beforehand. You could also create your own exams on UWorld. So what I would do sometimes is take 25 to 50 questions and filter it for the questions I got wrong already. And I would do it that way. So then I could see if I would still get it wrong, or if I learned from the rationale before, or if I really wasn't getting it, it was another good practice point and to reread the rationale. Mindset is a really big component as well. A positive mindset goes a long way. When you believe that you're going to pass the NCLEX on the first try, it will help A, lower your test anxiety, B, get into a mental space of whatever happens is meant to happen. I'm a Christian and believe that whatever is in God's plan for my life will happen. So when I had faith in that, and I would pray a lot over the NCLEX and how I would do and to pass it, then that helps me get into the right mind space and mindset as well. And that also helps build confidence when you're walking into the NCLEX. And like I said, confidence is key when you're going to take this test. When you say, I am nurse so-and-so, I'm going to pass the NCLEX in 85 questions, or just pass it in general, and I'm going to get through this. And then you just take it one step, one question at a time. There's a piece with that. In my opinion, you have to be intentional with your thoughts and your words and what you speak onto yourself. Now let's get into the day before the exam. Don't look at anything. Nursing, NCLEX, nothing. Nada. You're going to do nothing, okay? If you need distraction, go get a massage, go to the beach, go see a movie, I don't know. Do something that relaxes you, do something that comforts you, and do something that is not NCLEX prep. You want to do nothing the day before, because I promise you, whatever you know, it will not change if you study the day before. It won't. It's better and more beneficial to do nothing the day before than it is to do more practice questions the day before. Also, you want to not be test fatigued, and you want to be ready for this NCLEX. So just like in the gym, you need rest days, or else you're going to not see as much progress because your muscles need rest in order to build muscle. So it's the same thing with exams and the NCLEX. You're going to perform better when you do less than constantly doing more. That's why I also gave myself 2 rest days out of the week for my brain. So just like I'm resting my muscles twice a week, I'm resting my brain twice a week. And less is more. Less is more. Okay? Prepare and set the expectation for yourself that you're going to take the full 150 questions to take the exam. 15 of those questions are unmarked or ungraded. They're questions that they're testing out to actually be put in the NCLEX, but prepare to take the full exam, because if you prepare to take only 85 questions and you have that expectation, then if you keep going, you're going to lose confidence and you're not going to perform as well. You're going to get fatigued. You're setting an unrealistic expectation. Not everyone passes in 85 questions. If you do, it's amazing. That's great. When it turns off at 85, you have a pretty good expectation of what's going to happen and what your result is. But there are people who take the full 150 questions and they still pass. So have that expectation. It's going to help you to have that expectation. And if you get less than 150 questions, great. If not, you still have a chance at passing. All that matters at the end of the day is that you walk out of there a registered nurse, not by how many questions that you actually take on the NCLEX. Because I can tell you, on my interview, at work, no one talks about how many questions it took them to pass the NCLEX. Once you walk out of that room, the amount of questions that it took you is old news. It's not going to matter, and it does not matter. So prepare for the 150. The NCLEX is not testing you about how many drugs you know, what content you know, OB this, ER this, prioritization this. They're testing you if you are a safe nurse. That's why the NCLEX is the NCLEX, and that's why we all need to take it, because their main focus is patient safety. So when you take each question one by one, if you're not 100% sure and the answer that you have picked is not safe for the patient, don't pick it. Especially with the select all that apply and the case study questions for the next gen, or all the next gen questions. If you're not 100% sure what the answers that you have selected, it's better to select the ones that you're 100% sure. Even if you have a doubt in your mind, don't select it. When you select one wrong answer, it cancels out the entire question. But say you select 2 out of the 3 select all that apply answers, you will get 2 points for that select all that apply instead of 0. It's better to be on the safer side with that. Just remember patient safety. Do not kill your patient in the real world, of course, but in the NCLEX. Pick the answer that won't kill your patient, that is safe for your patient. Also, read the questions very, very carefully. You need to know what they are asking you. When the questions are hard, just don't get discouraged. The NCLEX starts out easy and then gets harder and harder and harder. So when it's getting harder, that's when you should know that you are doing well and that you are performing well. Also, you're not going to know everything on this exam. You're just not. You need to take the question one by one, read it, answer it to the best of your ability, move on. Once you get to that next question, don't think about the last ones. You can't go back. So just keep going and move on. When you arrive for your NCLEX, I suggest arriving about 30 minutes before your exam time. Chug a bunch of water, and you're going to bring a notebook with you. On one page, you're going to brain dump. Literally take every negative thought, every doubt in your mind, everything that's weighing on you, put it on a piece of paper, rip it up. Okay, it's going to help you to brain dump and to just get it off of you, put it onto something else, and then on another paper, write down positive affirmations. I'm going to pass this NCLEX. I'm going to go in with confidence. I'm going to be an RN. You have to go in free of the doubt and in with the confidence. Also, a reminder, the NCLEX does not define the kind of nurse you're going to be. Sometimes a bad test is just a bad test. It's not a full picture of the kind of nurse you're going to be. It's just a snapshot, genuinely. There are nurses who take it 2 or 3 times and then become a nurse, and they're still a really great nurse. Don't let it define you, and don't get discouraged. Don't give up if you don't pass it. If you're meant to be a nurse, you will be. You just have to keep going. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you watching. I hope this has helped ease a little bit of your anxiety, giving you some guidance on how to go about your NCLEX journey. Remember, you can do this. Set your mind to it, set your goal, and know that it is within arm's length. It is within your reach. You already went through nursing school, and that's the hardest part of this entire experience. You are ready. You can do this. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe for more, and leave in the comments below things that you found was helpful for you. And also come back when you pass the NCLEX. Let me know how you did. Bye.